Hi, I'm Eliza. I don't know what else to say about this intro, so, like, subscribe, comment, and share with your pals. TikTok is a window into every questionable thing anyone does, basically making us tourists to the zoo enclosures of random niche drama. I'm particularly fascinated by the wig drama I've come across. My credentials on speaking about this are that I am a cosplayer and I'm a cosmetology student, so I know a little bit about hair and wigs, I feel like. Meet Shawnee Wiggs, a wig maker, and sometimes she posts cooking content. She's mentioned to make wigs for celebrities and has even had one of her wigs being worn by Naomi Campbell in Vogue. Looking at her wigs at first glance, they look very natural and don't look bad at all, honestly. Then she reveals the prices.
Let me show you all the wigs we sold today and their prices. One of them is going to a celebrity hairstylist I'm working with. And when I tell you, I am so excited about this project. Ever since I started making wigs, one of my biggest dreams was to work with celebrities. I will never forget the first time that my wig was featured
Holy guacamole, that is a lot of money. That's more than twice the money that was paid for my Ford Fiesta for my senior year of high school. You can commission a decent fursuit for that price. I think. I've done a lot of rabbit holes on them, okay? That's like 724 packs of Dr. Pepper. I could buy 28 of these 19-inch Sephiroth figures with $10,000. Now you might be thinking, with a price like that, must be full lace human virgin hair. Well, no, it's a partial lace wig. But it does have virgin hair though. You might be wondering, what does any of that mean? So allow me to explain. Wigs come in many styles and different qualities. There are hard front wigs, which are going to be your standard wig that's much cheaper and easier to wear. Then there are lace front wigs, where it is similar to the hard front wig in its construction, except for the front uses a method making the hairline look more realistic and less bulky by threading the hairs into a mesh material. This also goes along with partial lace wigs, but usually those will have the entire top of it be lace. Then there are full lace wigs where the wig is completely made out of the mesh material with each hair threaded into it. And then there are the types of hair they can be made of. There's synthetic hair, which is common and is used in most cosplay wigs. With it being synthetic, it means that it styles a lot differently than human hair. Feels different, it's just because it's not human hair, okay? This right here, this is a synthetic wig. In fact, this is a synthetic hard front wig. So as you can see, not very natural looking hairline, but the bangs kind of hide it, so that's pretty sick. Then we have processed human hair, which means the hair has been chemically processed or altered in one way or another. Processed human hair is actually the standard type of hair that is put on these mannequins that we use in cosmetology school. Then finally, there is human virgin hair, which means the hair has never been chemically altered and is completely in its natural state. I unfortunately do not have an example of this since I love putting chemicals in my hair.
You're still wondering why our wigs are so expensive? Let me take you behind the scene of how we make our wigs. Our wigs are not coming from the same factory as the ones that cost $500. You know why? Because we are the factory. And if you're new here, I'm Shani, the founder of Shani Wigs, and I'm a wig maker. We have been featured in Vogue and made wigs for celebrities like Naomi Campbell. So what makes our wigs so different? After carefully selecting the hair, we create what we call wefting, which is going to be rows of hair that will be sewn into the cap of your wig.
In that video, she tries to defend the insane price put forth by saying they are completely handmade and use a unique process called wefting. Here's the deal. Wefting is not unique. It is used in most wigs, and they also can be referred to as tracks. I myself have made wefts for my wigs. I had to make many of them for this one, for my upcoming cloud cosplay. Even in this standard wig, there are tracks in them. See? I've seen many videos saying that if the wig is gonna be that price, it should be phenomenal.
At this point, I think we all know that lady is not lying and it's not satire, the 10K wig lady. I thought like maybe she was just exaggerating, like, oh, my wigs are 10K because they're just that good, haha, JK. But no, like, she's like dead serious. And my question is, why does she bring up Naomi Campbell? Is it because that's her most famous celebrity that she has, like, who's a client for her? Or does she know that most of the backlash is coming from black women, and she thought that that was going to be like the, I wouldn't say token black client, but if you get what I'm trying to say, like, oh, hey, black girls, you guys don't know what you're talking about. I service Naomi Campbell. Either way, she missed the ball, because none of us have ever looked at Naomi Campbell for her hair. Ever.
The poster of this video says that nobody has looked at Naomi Campbell for her hair, which I agree with completely, but in a way that means Shawnee Wigs achieved her goal, since she wants her wigs to look as natural as possible. But a $10,000 price tag for a wig to look like that is absolutely insane to me. While costuming wigs and everyday wigs are completely different for the reasons they are worn and how they are made, I feel like an over-the-top cosplay or drag wig is much more worth a price like that, due to not just the structure of the wig being created, but the amount of styling it takes to make the wig look so extravagant and hold its shape. As someone who's an artist myself, I understand why some things are expensive when independently made, much like Shawnee Wigs wig businesses. I'm someone who's okay with spending more than what others may think something is worth, because I am all for supporting artists. Put me in the artist alley of a convention and I'll be out of there spending a good chunk of money on different artists who are running different booths in there. Behind me, I have a poster. I'll put a little... Oh, see, I spent $30 on that Evangelion Miku poster, when if it was, you know, a mass-produced type of thing, it would have spent maybe a couple bucks. But I gladly spent that money knowing it was going to an artist for their work. When selling something of your own artistry, there are a lot of considerations to take when setting the prices. There's cost of materials, time cost, and of course wanting to make a profit as well. I myself am a victim of underpricing my works. I created this piece which sold for $350. Its dominant medium is colored pencils with some oil pastel as well. This is a pretty big piece. It's 16 by 24 inches, so I used a lot of colored pencils and pastels. For the materials itself, including colored pencils, oil pastel, paper, alcohol markers, and gel pens of all good quality, I'd estimate that around $30-ish to replace how much I used. Now the cost of time, which is definitely the most expensive part. When I created this piece, I was living in California and the minimum hourly wage at the time was $15.50. This piece, including the rough digital concept piece, measuring out the grid, making the base sketch, coloring the flat colors with marker, putting a layer of, real coloring and definition with colored pencils and oil pastels, defining the smaller details of the hair, clothes, faces, detailing the background, adding the sharper and bolder highlights with gel pen, and cleaning up any rough spots and adding final touches. The time it took me to make this could be estimated around 60 hours, which means that in California's minimum wage of late 2023, that would be $930 on just timely costs. Now, add that to the material cost of about $30, and that makes it $960. But of course, we still want to make a profit from this. Let's say I want a 10% profit that isn't out of the costs of materials and time. That would be $96, which means I will need to add that to the price, which changes it to $1,056. And now, depending on the situation, sometimes you'll have to add taxes, shipping, or even a commission cost, which all those will vary on the circumstance. But let's keep things simple and just keep it at that price of $1,056. That is $706 that I theoretically lost from this. So let's apply that concept to Shawnee Wigs and whether that average $10,000 price tag is valid. Since she has to source the materials, part of the money has to go to that. I'm not a wig maker. My experience relies on the wigs that I've styled and the cloud wig that I did make from like completely nothing into something. So that means I'm not too well versed in this sort of craft, so I will be relying on the internet for these numbers. According to brooklynhair.com, the prices for 2 bundles of hair typically ranges a lot, honestly, depending on the texture and the length. From my experience of making that cloud wig, you'll need more than 2 bundles of hair for 1 wig, I'm assuming, especially depending on the amount of density the wig being made demands. With her standard wigs being a partial lace with the rest relying on tracks, that also factors into the amount of hair needed. And let's assume she chooses the most expensive option, so let's go with the $440 option. And this review says they purchased 3 bundles, but this comes in a pack of 2, so let's say she's just gonna order 4 of them, which means she needs to buy 2 of these 2 packs of 2 bundles of hair. In the checkout said it would cost $835 without including a shipping cost, but including a discount on top of the purchase. But for the reasons of this video, we're gonna pretend there isn't a discount. So without shipping, it will be a total of $880 for the hair alone. I don't know whether she makes the caps herself or if she gets them pre-made. With that price, I'd hope they were made by her, but for simplicity's sake, for all this, I'm going to go off of the prices that I see partial lace caps, which tend to range from super cheap to not super cheap. So we're gonna go with $20, bringing the price to $900. I don't know what kind of thread or needle she uses, unfortunately, and I cannot tell from the videos. So I'm just gonna put a random price up to fill the gap for those and go with $30. Now we're at $930. Since the sewing machine is a permanent tool that doesn't exactly use an amount of material on that, it wouldn't make sense to add the cost of that to the price. Now I think we have all of the materials. It's time to get to the cost of time. Ha, see? I said time twice in that sentence. I looked through her account, but I couldn't find anything on how much time it takes to make these. Maybe I accidentally skipped over one that does state it, but I don't know. Going off of the time it took me to make my cloud wig from scratch isn't the best comparison, since I had to do a lot more prepping for the hair that wasn't just making wefts, but crimping, straightening, steaming, also waiting for glue, hairspray, and gel to dry, and taking all the time to style it to make it match the reference. And it probably took about 25 hours in total, I want to say. However, since she has to tie the hair into the lace, that for sure takes a long time, so we'll just stick to that number for her as well. And the location on most of her videos is in New York, so I'm gonna assume that she lives there. New York's minimum hourly wage is $15, but as a business owner, she probably is not going on that rate. So let's go with $30 hourly. So $30 for every hour for 25 hours brings the time cost to $750. Add that to the $930, and now the cost is at $1,680. Now to add the profit into this, I looked up the average profit margin for someone installing hair extensions, since that was the closest thing I could find that actually had a number on it, and that ranged from 30 to 50%. So let's go with that 50%, which means the marginal profit would be $840. Let's add that to the price and it becomes $2,520. I don't actually know if she has employees or not. From the looks of it, it looks like she just does it herself. But just in case she has employees, let's add some money to pay for the employees. I'm gonna make this easy on myself and just add another $840. And now we're at $3,360. The price for the wig itself, based on my estimates and research and numbers I found online, the price would be $3,360. But she also seems to install the wigs on some of her clients, so let's put a number on that as well. According to Hermosa Hair, the average price to install a wig professionally at a salon, the price can range from $150 to $300, but they do use different products and tools and style it during those sessions. So let's play it safe and add $300 to the price. Now we're at $3,660. I could totally be forgetting some costs to the process because I'm no means a professional wig maker. Yeah, that one. So let's, just in case, add another $500. The final price from this is at $4,160 if my math is right, which is less than half of that $10,000 price. And I tried to keep all these numbers pretty high as well, just to play as devil's advocate, yet it still doesn't justify that insanely high price. But of course, if we're really getting into the nitty-gritty of it, prices also can be increased or decreased depending on how high the demand for the service or product is. But let's not get too ahead of ourselves. Of course, who am I to say about any of this? I got a D in my microeconomics class in the 12th grade, so I can't say how reliable any of this is. In a perfect world, I would have ordered one of her wigs and then compared it to a cheaper one. But I have no money, so that will not be the case, unfortunately. So maybe one day we could do that. One day I'll get there, okay? To wrap this up, I want to make sure nobody goes harassing anyone, so keep all the discussions and discourse in my comment section if this video gets enough views to even get to the point of that happening. But I don't know, this is my second video I've ever posted on this channel. Okay, anyways, let me know what you want to hear about next, and or want me to do a video of.
Goodbye.